Welcome to Backseat Confessions Podcast. Slide into the backseat as we listen to mostly anonymous strangers tell us stories from their lives. I'm a rideshare driver in Atlanta, and the people getting in my car have absolutely no idea I'm going to ask them to share. My commitment to you is to tell at least a snippet of virtually every story recorded in my car in the order they were told to me. My hope is that you laugh, cringe, cry, but mostly connect to these amazing people. You may find a piece of your own story or just feel more connected to the rest of us. Join us, won't you? So, hey, my new friend. This is an adult podcast. Themes and languages are definitely not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised. So this is it. When our ride ends today, we will officially be parking the car for a minute because this is the last episode of Season 1. And I'm so grateful for you, the listener, and I'm so grateful for all the wonderful people who share their stories. I'm a person of faith, and so that obviously affects how I look at life. And I must say that as I was putting these last 6 stories together, I felt the help of the unseen hand of the divine. These final 6, especially the last 5, are just so good that I'm blown away by what people have shared. Okay, enough of me opining. Let's get this show on the road. Our first story today involves theft, but the young lady telling the story talks about how the person stealing was also quite good to her. People are complex. Just because they are doing something wrong doesn't necessarily make them a bad person.
Story number 74. Friday, December 18th, 2020, 9:41 p.m.
Okay, so the story is about how my managers got caught and got fired.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I'm going to name her so-and-so.
Okay.
So-and-so, she had hired me around November 25th, and I now work at a retail store. Okay. Now, they pay me good. They pay me real good. They pay me $9.50, okay. But they're now going to give me a raise. They're going to give me, I think, $9.75.
All right.
So I guess
good.
That's a little more money in my pocket.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so the other day, I was off around this day, but my friend had told me, I'm going to name her Gigi.
Okay.
Gigi was like, so now we got different managers and GMs coming in because we heard that so-and-so was stealing from the store. So when so-and-so got caught, she didn't even know that they was watching her. Ooh. So when they found out that they was watching her, she didn't even know what to do. So when the head manager had came in, they was just like, so what we're going to do is go ahead and fire you. You're off the schedules and you're going to have to go to jail for at least 2 months.
Oh, snap.
Because she stole. Now,
money or merchandise or both?
I believe it was both.
Wow.
Now,
and did you say she was in a position of like authority or leadership, or was she just?
Yeah, she was the head manager. Like, she had everybody, when you go to the store, you wouldn't even notice like that we'll be employees. You'll look at us as like a family, like how everything will work out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it was real nice, and I enjoyed the company and everything.
Oh.
So it was like when
So you actually like this lady?
Yeah, I actually liked her. So
snap.
It was like if they was to report her and have us like come in and confess, I would like.
Oh no.
I would really take up for her and be like, she's amazing. I don't even believe she would do that.
But did you ever personally see her do any of that
No,
stuff?
I never
seen. So then you couldn't testify against her anyway. So
exactly.
You're good. Yeah.
So really, I'm just mad that she left because now the real GM, she's kind of mean. But I mean, I had got her soft spot, so now I kind of know how to talk to her nice, get my way.
I love it.
Yeah. So what happened? So after she had got fired, the next day, which was today, I came in, and when I first came in, I was so lost because I was like, who are you? Who are these people?
Right.
Why are y'all just like me? So I'm just like, she's like, well, we're the new GM. The other GM is no longer there. And we're going to change the store around. We're going to fix the structure because I don't know what was going on in the last situation. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was just like waiting for her to let me clock in and stuff. And I couldn't even clock in right because she wasn't fixing my time. So it was just like a lot going on today.
Yeah, that's a lot to just walk into out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, you're an amazing young lady, and you have a wonderful personality, and I know you're going to go far. And but thank you so much for sharing the story today.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Of your former manager.
Right.
The lesson, boys and girls, is don't steal.
Do not steal.
They're watching.
Right. They are always watching.
Another reason to always be kind. Miss So-and-so created a family atmosphere as the lead manager and made our rider just feel loved and included, to the point where she was willing to lie if it would have helped Miss So-and-so stay out of trouble. Side note is, I believe that companies who foster the best culture are going to thrive in today's dynamic economy, while those that don't will suffer. Something to think about, for sure. Our next rider is, or at least was, a bit of a wild child. Her early college sorority days gave the leadership of said sorority a lot to deal with. I love her adventurous spirit, and no doubt she would have been one of the people you wanted at your college party if it was going to be lit.
Story number 75. Friday, December 18th, 2020, 11:18 p.m.
I think my story would probably be how I got kicked out of my sorority in college.
Nice.
I think only after about a semester and a half. Okay. To this day, only my close friends in college probably know, and my parents don't know.
Okay,
so
I love it.
I'm excited to tell this story.
I like this, yeah.
You want me to just go into it?
Go into it. Let's do it. Yeah.
So I was definitely wild in college. Anytime there was a social, I was always there. Would never miss a party.
Right.
So what I actually got kicked out for was giving a blowjob.
Nice.
At a sorority social.
Like
a sorority party where like tons of people were around, but no one saw it.
Wait, so hold on now. Is this like drag the guy into the bathroom, or are you talking like...
I left out the best part. It was under a pinball machine in the arcade.
No.
At the bar.
No.
Yeah.
That is... I don't... I'm probably not supposed to be super proud of you, but... Wow, that's amazing.
I must have been very flexible. I have no idea how we both fit under there. And no one saw us. And there was like a wall where it was only halfway. So you could, see a little over it. So I think that's why.
Oh, you're good.
So you could see over it. And but I guess no one did. So what ended up happening is I hooked up with this guy. Him and I had sexual chemistry for a long time.
Right.
Finally just decided, to hook up there. Why not? I was always kind of adventurous like that.
Yeah.
And I did, and I think it was about a week later.
Right.
I'm at the University of Alabama hanging out with a friend, and I get a Facebook message from our standards share saying, you've been pulled for whatever they called it, but a hearing basically on my behavior.
Okay.
And it's sad kind of when you have to think through your head, what did I do when you just gave someone a blowjob under a pinball machine?
Right. Like, which
You're
one
not
of my
even sure if that was it. So I was like, okay, well, I then asked, what am I going for? And they said sexual act at I won't say my sorority's name,
right,
but at a so-and-so function. Insubordination to the standards chair.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, I did do that too. I'll get into that one. And then the third one was Facebook crack pipe picture. And I was like, well, of all the things I would have thought, it wouldn't have been that, because definitely have never done crack. So this should be a fun meeting.
Right.
So they're like, okay, you need to come to the house basically now to pick up your papers, to read over them. And then on Sunday, which was I think 2 or 3 days later, then you can meet with us and we'll go over everything. And I was like, well, I'm in Alabama, so it's going to have to wait till Sunday.
Right.
So I get there, and at the time I was actually had a legal background, and so I wish I had gotten the papers earlier, because it said I could bring a witness. And the guy actually said he would stand up for me and say it didn't happen.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Didn't even think it was going to come to that. I thought if I was, honest, I would not get in trouble. I know, naive, right? When you're 18, you think.
I know. You think the
honesty
world...
will get you everywhere.
Yeah, not
Doesn't
true.
work like that,
No.
huh? So I go,
Yeah.
high as a kite. I smoke like a joint before I go.
Right, because you're probably nervous as all get out. Right, yeah,
and then all of a sudden they pull out this photo.
Okay.
And I was sitting in front of all these girls that I knew that were in the sorority, that were on the board, and then they all said a representative who was like in her 30s, like, why is she still involved with sororities? That's weird.
That is weird.
So she was there, to represent, and so she... So they were just asking me questions. They present this picture, and it was actually me in high school smoking out of a weed steamroller,
Right.
like pipe. And so they were like, oh, this is obviously crack to them. So
yeah,
they
for
said, I can't believe I have to ask you this, but is this crack cocaine in the picture? I said, actually, it's not.
Right.
I was happy to say that. And she said, well, what is it? And I said, ma'am, it's marijuana. And she said, well, don't you think that's harmful to your body? And without missing a beat, I said, research hasn't been able to prove so.
Right.
Nice. You should have seen their faces. I think I set myself up for failure, though, after that comment. And so then, I basically said that, I didn't recall most of the evening, and, I don't know if we hooked up or not, but I don't remember that happening. And, and the insubordination thing was good. So in high school, I had made my prom album, Snoop Dogg lyrics, and I think it was Tanqueray and Chronic. Yeah, I'm fucked up now. We used to post stupid stuff like that on Facebook in 2009. So I had that album up when I got picked to be in the sorority. And then once I got in, my boyfriend, I cheated on him with his best friend.
Nice.
And his other best friend walked in on it. It was a whole thing.
Oh, that's a lot.
Essentially, we broke up pretty immediately.
Yeah.
And then he decided to get back at me the next night by taking home the roommate of my best friend and his mutual friend, a girl who was in my sorority and I also went to high school with. So
there you go.
He tried to go below the belt. I deserved it.
Right.
So he takes her home. My big sister, my sorority, made it known that, she was screwed from that point forward if, she ever came close to me. And so she, her big sister was the standards chair.
Right.
So she had messaged me on Facebook saying, hey, I see this photo album with this provocative title. You need to change it. And I said, well, I'm studying right now. I'll get to it tonight. She's like, no, you have to do it now. So then I went, I changed it, and I changed it to like F***, just to kind of bleep it out. She messaged me again. That's not sufficient. You need to change it, blah, blah, blah. So then I was pissed. I'm like, I'm actually studying right now, and this is a personal attack. This has been on here for months. You're just looking for a problem with me. So I changed it to find something better to do with your time.
Oh,
so that was my strike
shots fired.
3.
Shots
and
fired.
So that's kind of my story of how I got kicked out of my sorority, and I don't regret it. I think a week later, Ben Roethlisberger was in our college town, and that was when he actually sexually assaulted that girl in a college town. She was in my sorority. It was very sad, but they made everyone delete their social media, and I was like, sucks for you guys
Right.
because I'm not in this
I'm not in
sorority
it.
anymore.
Not my
I don't
problem.
do what you have to say. So, it was just an interesting turn of events. But
That is okay. So, and
it
that
all
one
worked
question
out.
that I may have missed in your story: how, if no one saw this alleged blowjob under this alleged pinball machine,
Jealous bitches, because they listen to the guys talk. I mean, who
course.
doesn't talk about their
yeah.
pinball machine
He
blowjob?
never stop bragging about
He's
that.
probably
Of course.
still talking about it.
Of course. If he's
So,
my next rider,
yeah,
that's the story I'm
he
gonna
told
get.
his friends. My
Okay, fair
other
enough.
girls were dating those friends,
Yep,
and
yep.
it got around. I mean, who wouldn't want to talk about it? But
Yeah, no.
looking back on it, like, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, live a story-worthy life, right?
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
I wish we had more time because
Yeah.
you have great stories in you.
I do. I
can
have a
feel
lot
this.
more. I have a lot more.
I can see that. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Such a cool lady. And I truly wish we had more time to get more of her stories. She's the opposite of boring. I mean, live a story-worthy life, right? And she makes me think of another potentially interesting group topic. Where is the oddest place you've ever had sex? And yes, we can count oral in this for you in the back. Yeah. Anyways, that would be a fun discussion, no doubt. I don't know if it's my oddest place, but I did have sex during daylight hours in a national park with people within eyeshot. But of course, we were in tall grass, so they couldn't see us. I've always wondered if that means I've committed a federal crime. The things we do to keep our sex lives interesting, right? Our next rider experiences something out of a scene in like Fast and Furious number 82. And by the way, if you think they're ever going to stop making those movies, then think again, buddy. I think I've watched a couple of them many years ago, but I kind of felt like I'd seen enough after that. But if you're Fast and Furious, I mean, hey, it's like you're printing money with that franchise, so, why stop, right?
Story number 76. Saturday, December 19th, 2020, 12:24 a.m.
So let me talk about this one time that me and a buddy of mine actually came from out of town, and we were leaving from a restaurant. We were we were a couple of drinks in, probably 6 to 7 shots in.
Okay.
And he convinced me to drive my vehicle. I have a SS Camaro, and he wanted to relive the Fast and Furious scene where Paul Walker drove off into the sunset.
Right.
But we were doing this on Highway 85.
Ouch.
Yeah, absolutely ouch. And when the ouch started when I seen the yellow arrow pointed signs, meaning that's a sharp corner or a sharp turn.
That's not good.
But what happened was I looked at the speedometer and it was at like 90 when the turn was definitely a 35 to 45 turn.
Right.
So that's when I saw kind of the light, the light from God shining. And I knew it was over.
Right. You saw your life flash before your eyes.
Yep.
And
then
like this red car that pulled in.
And then he definitely went Paul Walker on me and just slammed onto the brakes, and then of course it locked up and we went crashing into the wall.
Like, this is for real. You hit
this
the wall.
is no lie. I wish I
God,
can't make this shit up, man. Come on.
I'm just glad you're alive.
Yeah, thank God. Am I alive? I don't know. Maybe this is
Maybe we're in Elon Musk's alternate.
Elon.
we're in a simulation right now.
No, this is some white noise. This ain't even me. This is my ghost talking right now. This is a ghost of Mr. D or whatever.
Mr. D, I like it.
Yeah, Mr. But no, so he hits. So he slams onto the brakes and tries to Tokyo drift. Into the third lane. Thank God this was a little bit later in the night. Like I said, we were out drinking or whatever. We had a couple of beers. Who knows?
Just a couple.
That's what we told the police officer anyway.
For sure.
So we had a couple of beers and we Tokyo drifted into the wall.
Right.
And I'll tell you one thing. Paul Walker must have been with us, or maybe it was Jesus.
Right.
Because he guided the vehicle. He recorrected the Tokyo drift to where We only had minor damages.
Dude.
And by minor, I mean the rear passenger tire rolled off of the vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh wow.
But luckily there were no other vehicles harmed in the making of this movie.
Yeah.
Or story or whatever.
Right.
So it was only us just like Tokyo drifting across.
And I do like the idea, by the way, of both Paul Walker and Jesus, just kind of co-hosting on this one, being like, you know what? These guys are idiots, but we like them.
Yep.
And we're going to keep them alive this time.
Just to tell this story. So maybe after when this comes out,
yes,
maybe after that'll be our time for Final Destination, and we'll be on flight 757 going down or whatever or something. But that was probably the most
that's
dangerous slash. Hold on, but there's some silver lining.
Okay.
One, there were no casualties.
Yes.
All right. Thank God. Obviously, we're living to tell the story.
Right.
And two, no fucking arrests.
Boom.
By
baby.
the time
that's actually amazing.
Super amazing. By the time the police decided to pull up on us, we were already sobered up. Because that's a very sobering experience.
That's a very sobering experience.
Doing a 360 from one median to the other, also sitting in your car. So by the time the police came, we were sobered up, and like I say, no casualties, no citations.
Wow.
Thank God for insurance.
Your guys' guardian angels are next level. I need to get the business card of your angel and get one of those guys or gals on my case.
Shameless plug. State Farm.
I like it.
Get State Farm.
I like it.
Accident forgiveness. So,
that's right. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for your story, Mr. D.
Yep. Thank you for having us for this amazing, life-changing experience.
Or at least getting picked up from one place and dropped off another. But yes, my pleasure.
Same difference.
Right.
Semantics.
All right. Appreciate it. By the way, the guardian angels I was talking about were not State Farm, no matter how great of an insurance company they are. Side note, State Farm, or really any other large, reputable insurance company, I am open to advertising for you if you're open to paying me. Okay, back to the guardian angels. No one was hurt and no one got a ticket? I mean, what? Definitely need to talk to my guardian angels and make sure I get the upgraded package that these guys are on. Sheesh. For a number of personal reasons, one of which, of course, is the Marine Corps, this is one of my favorite conversations on BCP. This guy is just such a freaking mensch, and if you listen through to the end, I know he will inspire you and make you think. I'm pretty sure it is the longest story I've played this season, but it is gold. And if you're into numbers having meaning, by the way, it is interesting that this story was the 77th story told to me.
Story number 77. Saturday, December 19th, 2020, 12:46 a.m.
When my wife, she joined the military a year before me.
Okay.
And my wife was a naval corpsman.
Okay.
She worked at the Branch Medical Center at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina.
Wow.
And this is March of 1990.
Okay. A couple of years ago.
I walked into, obviously I was a recruit getting dental work done.
Okay.
And I saw what I thought was a very, very pretty Navy person, because you don't see that many women at Parris Island.
Right, for sure.
Even though we got WMs, you don't see them because they're on the other side of the island. Well, anyway, I thought she was really, really cute. I couldn't help but staring at her.
Yep.
And a drill instructor saw me, and he crushed me. What are you doing looking at the girl? Blah, 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 blah. They dug me out.
Yeah.
On fast forward 2.5 months later, I'm in the Liberty before graduation.
Yes, sir.
And so my family's there, and I'm walking around, and I happen to walk into the Naval Center because I wanted to see her one more time and ask her name.
Yes.
So I did that. Asked her name, told her I'm not sure where I was going, and she said she was leaving to go to Okinawa, Japan. I said, well, hey, maybe I'll see you down the road. That was that for the moment.
Right.
I get to go through all my MOS schools, go through infantry school, Camp Lejeune, and then I get stationed in 1st Marine Division, California.
Okay.
Camp Pendleton.
Yes, sir.
Check into my unit. 3 months later, we were in a workup to leave to go do a unit deployment program in Okinawa, Japan.
Okay.
So my unit packs up, and we go to Okinawa.
Okay.
Get to a base called Camp Hansen in Okinawa, and as I'm walking around just to see what's on the base, I hear somebody says, "Oh my God, is that Recruit Thomas?"
Whoa.
And I said, well, they gotta know me. They know said my name.
Yeah.
I turn around, and it's her.
Wow, and she remembered your name. Dude.
I was shocked she remembered my name. Because she said, hey, I just knew your face, and you had a nice face.
Aww.
And I met your family, and that's what made me remember it more. So I asked her out. She said she'll think about it. Saw her again about a couple days later. I asked her again. She said she'll think about it. The third time I saw her about a week later, and she agreed.
Aww.
And I've never not been with her.
That's amazing.
And a lot of people don't believe the story, but it's actually true.
I love it. How incredible to go from, North Carolina to then meeting her, Paris Island in South Carolina, and then meeting her again in Okinawa.
Yes.
That's nuts.
We laugh about this. We talk about this a lot. When people ask how we met, we both start laughing because it's so unusual.
It is crazy. And then on a personal note, before we started the podcast, we were talking about, you were in the Marine Corps for a very long time, which obviously, like I mentioned before, just very grateful for your service. And but we share something. Both of our kids are in the Marine Corps as well.
Yes, sir.
How freaking cool is that?
It's really, really cool. I never would have thought that my daughter would have joined the military, even though she traveled with us and everything.
Yeah.
When she decided and came to us and told us, I had to ask her. I said, we never put any pressure on you. We just wanted you to either go to school or do something very positive with your life.
Yes.
I said, give me one reason why you joined the Marine Corps. And the answer she gave me, I almost felt bad about the answer.
Okay.
And her answer was, duh, it's kind of what our family does, Dad.
Oh, look at that.
And because me and her mom both served,
yes,
I just felt really proud of that. And she said she always was going to do the military because of us.
Man.
She's doing good things now. And just talked to her. Because of COVID, she's going to be in Japan a few months longer.
Okay.
Not that she has it, but, protocols with leaving Japan and everything. But it's been a blessing. Yeah. She's doing really well, and I'm so proud of her.
Absolutely. And
your son, I know you're proud of him.
Oh, my God.
And I'm proud for him in being a fellow Marine.
Yeah.
My love for him is, I don't need to know anything about him.
He told me that. He said that was one of the things that drew him. He said out of all the services, it's the only one where there's true brotherhood.
Man, let me tell you something. One thing about it.
Yeah.
One of my best friends is from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
We'll call him Mr. H.
Yes, sir.
And we couldn't be too different. You're talking about a guy that grew up in New York.
Okay.
And a guy that was from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Wow. That's where my wife's from, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Black guy from Brooklyn, New York. White guy from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
We became roommates. My second command in California, 1st Marine Division.
Okay.
And we were roommates.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, man. Just over time, that guy, man, we are so close. Just talked to him a few weeks ago. Going to see him in a few months. Once we can start really traveling the way we want to travel.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where he's from.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what his race is. Doesn't matter what his religion is. Yep. None of that.
Wow.
Here it is. We both stood on those footprints at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Paris Island, receiving.
Yes, sir.
And those are your brothers. They're your brothers for life. Doesn't matter if you serve with them a year, 6 months, 8 months, 20 years. It's a brotherhood. And if I met you and you said you was in the Marine Corps and I never met you before, I don't need to know anything else about you other than the fact that you're my brother. We're good.
Wow.
And that's how it is in the Corps. And that was the reason that I picked the Marine Corps. I actually was going to join the Army, but I wanted to talk to all the branches of service, and the sergeant that recruited me said it's a real brotherhood. And I thought that was more of what I was looking for. And I tell people all the time, you make a lot of decisions in your young life.
Yeah.
Good or bad or indifferent.
Yep.
It is the best decision that I could have ever made as a young man.
Wow.
For the following reasons. One, obviously the service to the country.
Yes.
It helped me grow up, see most of the world. I had never really been out of New York and Jersey, maybe went to Philly once. But I've seen most of the world. Yep. I've been stationed in a lot of great states. And man, it's been the best thing that I could have ever imagined.
Wow. And
even though there are some tough times.
Yes, sir.
There are some great Marines that are no longer with us.
Yes, sir.
But they're guarding the pearly gates.
That's right.
And they're always in your memories. You have love for them, man. And like I said, it's a great brotherhood, and it's unconditional.
Wow.
Because when you go somewhere and you're serving the country and you put yourselves in harm's way, and I have to depend on you.
Yes, sir.
You have to depend on me for duty. And also the fact that, hey, your family wants you to come home, my family wants me to come home, and hey, I got your back and you got mine, and man, and that's the best thing that the Marine Corps offered me. And just the pride of just knowing that, hey man, I'm still in the greatest country in the world. Despite all the things that we can make better,
yes,
it's still the best in the world.
Yeah. I
will always have been proud that myself, my family, and even my child now is doing the same thing, and I couldn't have asked for a better career. I couldn't.
Wow, dude, that's incredible. I'll tell you one thing when you were talking about standing in the shoes and the footprints.
Right.
Man, I literally, my whole body just I had chills up and down, and
it's intimidating when you get to Parris Island.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they pick you up at night.
Yeah.
And you're coming from Charleston, and you don't see the town of Beaufort, which is a beautiful city.
Okay.
I actually had the fortune of going to recruit training there at Parris Island. Okay. But 7 years later, I came back to the island as a permanent personnel.
Oh, wow.
And this is a funny story. I probably should have put this on you might not believe this story, but when I drove on the base,
okay,
for some reason, and I don't know why I did it, I immediately drove off. I drove on the base.
Okay.
The MP let me through.
Yes, sir.
I turned around and U-turned and went right off the base and came back. When I came back through the gate, he said, he was laughing. He said, you got orders here? I said, yes, sir, I do. He said, every permanent personnel that comes through here does kind of the same thing.
Really?
Because the only time I ever saw it was a recruit.
Yeah, yeah.
When I left, I had just became a permanent Marine.
Yes.
I never had been back, and I was an NCO too, so I had a chance to come back and see the island from the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And it also made me now understand it from the instructor's point of view.
Yep.
And then I started to understand all the stuff that I thought was stupid in boot camp, like they're just messing with us.
Yes.
I knew it was a purpose for us doing it.
Wow.
And so that was probably a great experience to see it from the other side.
Man, I feel like beyond this very specific Marine Parris Island example, I feel like there's something really deep in there about life.
It is.
Right? Like and maybe some of it you don't figure out till you get to heaven, but there's going to be things that you don't understand, you think you're stupid, and then as you get older, you get more wisdom, you get a different point of view, or maybe you even cross over to the other side, something clicks and you're like, oh, that's why. But anyways, that's, wow, amazing.
Absolutely.
Man, well, thank you, Mr. T, so much for sharing your heart and your life story. This has honestly been the most inspiring rider story I think I've ever been told. And of course, I know I'm a little biased because it's, involves something that touches my life so deeply now with my son being in. But man, thank you truly, truly from the bottom of my heart for sharing, for your service. And I thank you for your beautiful family too. Like, you and your wife deserve huge props for raising someone and letting them see up close and personal just your life, and her still being like, yep, you know what, this is the direction I want to go.
The one thing I will say, if I had to give any advice to, and obviously your son is just starting his career.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
There's always an answer. There's an education officer. There's a NCO that's in charge of him, as long as he let them know what he wants to do.
Okay.
There's an officer and a staff NCO in that command that will show him the way.
Wow.
He can go to school. He can do officer programs. There's so much he could do. And the Marine Corps is so much better now in terms of if you have a family, the Key Volunteer Network.
Yeah.
You have the Navy Marine Corps Relief. If you have a financial issue, they will not let the Marine have that kind of problem where his family is in doubt. And I think that's probably one of the most things that I really love about the Corps.
Yeah.
And for me, as a young man, and obviously I had a good mom and a good dad, but I'm going to tell you, what I learned my first 8 years is invaluable.
Yeah.
It gave me a respect for just other people and different. It doesn't matter who you are. I look at the country so much better, and I look at it like this. We have a lot of things that we can improve on here.
Heck yeah, of course, absolutely.
But the most important thing is that when you go to another country, whether you're visiting as just a civilian, you're maybe having a good time with your family somewhere, or if you're serving, when you see another American, you always say, hey, you're from America, where you from? And you always have a good feeling.
Yeah.
If we remember that when we're here,
oh, that's so good.
We'll be so much better because, when you go to the Kandahars and you go to the Okinawas and you go to the Philippines and you go to some of the places, good, bad, and indifferent, you have great ports and you have other stories that most Marines don't talk about at times because those are hard.
Hard ones, yeah.
But when you come back to America, you don't want to have a bad word with another American. Man, hey, I love this country. I love you. Yeah. And we as Americans got to give each other more credit that we could fix problems without all the bickering, without all of this and that. If you just do what you're doing now with your podcast and listen to another person's story, you know what happens when I get out of your car?
Tell me.
You feel a little bit better about the person because you had time to talk to them, and that's really all it is.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Marine Corps teach you. There are no black Marines. There are no white Marines. Wow. There are no other nationality Marines.
Yeah.
We're all green.
Wow.
And they tell you that from day one.
Wow.
We don't allow any of that stuff to affect the Marine unit. And if you do, and if you can't get yourself together, you don't have the honor to wear that blood stripe anymore. And that's something that your son gonna love when he gets his blood stripe ceremony. So, so I appreciate what you're doing. I think this is a great thing to do. And like I said, we're both a little biased because of the Corps.
Of course.
But I appreciate being able to share with you, man.
Absolutely.
I really do.
No, and I don't know how to take your amazing point of view and get the world to buy in, but I promise
we'll keep fighting.
Yeah, but if they will, there's magic in there because you're right. Like there's so much that we need to do better on, but we're also, if we do it together, if we come to the table and talk and we do it together, especially in the black and white communities, man, we could make this country not only leaps and bounds greater, but I think it would inspire the entire world. So I loved everything you're about, man. I'm just. Yeah, this is powerful. This is a conversation I am not going to forget anytime soon. So, man, just blessings on you and your family, and man, thank you so much for sharing your heart tonight.
Anytime, my brother. Anytime.
I just don't know what else I can add. This is one of those stories that I can go back and listen to from time to time, and I'm just so filled with gratitude that I got to hear his story and his heart and meet him. My son joined the Marines because he felt like it was the best decision he could make as a young man to set himself up to become the man he knew he was capable of becoming, but needed the structure of the Marines to help him get there. And my son was drawn in by the amazing brotherhood. Both of these were such important points also to our rider today. And his take on working through our differences as Americans, on really whatever the issue is. If we all actually took his words to heart, I can only dream, like Martin Luther King Jr. did, of what incredible progress we could make as a country. This next guy has a similar message to the gentleman last episode that encouraged us to love our people while we can. Being a professional tractor-trailer driver, not only are you obviously a very critical part of the infrastructure of the supply chain in this country, but you see some things out there on the road.
Story number 78. Saturday, December 19th, 2020, 1:57 a.m.
Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them before they walk out that door.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm about 10 years in the game at this point. Been trucking for 20 years, so I'm 10 years in the game, and I was driving for a van company, a van moving company.
Okay, yep.
I was just coming back from California. Me and the young lady I was dating at the time, we were dating for about 5 years.
Okay.
So we're just riding through Texas, enjoying the scenery. We're sharing a bag of Cheetos, listening to some good music. It's towards the evening time, and I'd say about like 3.
Yeah.
So I see a group of cars go by me, right?
Yep.
It was one that stood out was a 60-something Mustang, real nice.
Wow.
There was a kid in it. I saw he had his books in there and everything like that, and it was hey, he gave me the give me the horn sign,
Yeah,
and I was like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he keeps on riding, and I told my chick, my girl at the time, yeah, he's probably coming home from college or going to college, and we smile about that. And out the freaking blue, we see cars swerving in front of us. That group of cars that just went by me, they're swerving. I'm like, what's going on up there? So I come off the accelerator.
Yeah.
And there's a truck coming my direction. He's going westbound in the eastbound lane.
No.
He's in the fast lane. And I'm like, oh shit, at this point. So I move over and I have train horns down. I'm blowing the train horns, and it's an elderly Caucasian guy going back the other way in a blue Ford Ranger. I remember it, man. I seen him ride by. So I get on the CB, I'm telling people yo, brake check, truck coming the wrong direction, slow down, everybody watch out. And my friend, she yells out, babe. I'm like, what? And I look in front of me, man, and it's just like a freaking whirlwind. A car is just getting disintegrated. Wow. And my eyes are glued on this car, so now I'm really breaking the truck down because now it's an accident.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. Then she said, babe. And at this point, my nerves are shot.
Yeah.
And so I yell at her, what? As I look at her, and her jaws drop wide open and her hands just pointing. And I look up and I just caught the end of something flying and hitting the ground and sliding. So at that point, I'm like, what was that? And I start to slow the truck down, slow it down. And I stop, and I'm like, from here to that guardrail.
Yeah. Which is maybe, for those who can't see it, maybe I'd say 60 feet.
Yeah, about 60 feet, right?
Yeah.
And I get out the truck, man, and it was just like an eerie silence, but highway noise, but it's like silent. And I'm walking up, and as I get closer, it's a person. It's a person sitting right there in front of me. And I'm like, oh my, dude, bro. Hey, bro, wake up. And then I just started seeing like a stream of blood just start coming from him. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, wake up.
Yeah.
We were all screwed up looking at this thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, to speed the story up, a lady that was a paramedic, she comes up, and I'm like, no, don't touch him. And so we have to touch him, so she flips him over, and come to find out, it's the kid that just passed by us.
Yes, sir.
In the Mustang.
Oh.
Now, his car went through so much that you could not find his tires. Front steer tire was gone.
Wow.
What made it worse was they had the life flight them out. Helicopter lands in the field next to us.
Yeah.
Milk carton crate flies up, gets sucked up and hit the blade of the helicopter, so they couldn't airlift them out. So the helicopter had to leave, and I never knew what happened to the kid. It didn't look good.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't mean to start like that, but
no, yeah, no, that's.
I want your audience to know
Yeah.
to appreciate your loved ones.
Yep.
And stay off your cell phone when you're driving, because it's terrible out here when you leave your house and you take for granted that you can hop in your car and come right back. Well, I'm figuring that kid was on his way to college or coming home, and probably just was on the phone with his mom or dad and was like, okay, I'll be home soon. He ain't never make it.
Nope. You can't control when it'll be the last time you see a loved one. So really, all we can do is to let them know that we love them as often as possible. And our conversation actually goes on for another 4 minutes or so, but because of time constraints, I didn't really feel like I could leave it here, and it wasn't related to the story of the young man, so I cut it out. But at some point, I do plan on coming up with a subscription format, and it will let you hear all the little audio clips here and there that I chop off that are deemed unnecessary. So, just a little heads up for the future. From a creator point of view, this last story for season 1 of Backseat Confessions podcast is a gift. I really couldn't have tried to plan for a better story to leave us on as the grand finale. I mean this. I hope that wherever you are, if you can take the next 11 minutes or so and get still or quiet enough to really let this young mom's story sink in, I promise it will touch you, inspire you, and dare I say, bring you hope.
Story number 79. Saturday, December 19th, 2020, 2:27 a.m.
Okay, I just really want to express the importance of law of attraction and how strong trying to manifestate what you want, how important that really is and how good it works.
Okay, tell me about it.
So over a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I say around the summertime of 2019,
Okay.
I experienced homelessness to where I had to humble myself and literally go to a women and children's shelter.
Wow.
I didn't expect to be there for more than 30 days. This is what I told myself mentally.
Yep.
Because at the time, my mindset wasn't where it needed to be. So in my mind, I told myself 30 days.
Yes.
God told me 90 days. Okay?
Gotta love when God disrupts your plans, right?
Yeah, definitely. I said 30 days, he said 90 days.
Right.
So during that whole process, I really learned to humble myself. I learned to be quiet so that I can hear certain things as far as being guided in the right direction.
Yeah.
I didn't let anger, I didn't let disappointment, I didn't let doubt, I didn't let that step in the way, even though those things were clearly in my way.
For sure.
And I just kept telling myself, I was like, I'm gonna start school. Mind you, I was going through all of this with 3 children.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow.
And I was pregnant with my 4th child. So imagine having a child with autism, a set of toddler twins, and a baby that you're carrying, and you're in a shelter and you're telling yourself, okay, just 30 days.
Yeah.
But God gave me and my family 90, right?
Yeah.
I experienced so much because people don't understand that kids get stressed out too.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of other kids there, so my kids were thinking, this is a party.
For sure, yeah.
But after a while, they start to notice, something's missing. Especially when your kids are used to having a two-parent home.
Yeah.
They're used to things being set up a certain way.
Yep.
But life can knock you down. It doesn't discriminate on who you are, man, woman. And so I say that to say this to the women as well. Understand that men try the best that they can. Everything is not always built for them to win.
Wow.
Okay? That doesn't mean that you don't have a good partner.
Yeah.
It just means that you have to be more understanding and that your mind has to be more open.
Wow.
It means that your heart has to be more receptive. So that's all that means.
Wow.
But I kept telling myself, I was like, I'm going to go to school. In the midst of this situation, I'm going to get a place. Everything is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
I remember going to a men's shelter, to get a housing assessment.
Yeah.
And you have to be there like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I remember going 3 days in a row. Like it was always something that was preventing me from getting that spot. And we're in a spiritual warfare, whether people believe in Allah, Jesus, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't truly matter. The only thing that matters is that you understand that something is protecting you, something is guiding you. You're waking up for a reason. You're protected for a reason. I think that's the only thing that we need to understand and accept. So, I was receiving a very big blessing with that shelter that I was being blocked from for those 3 days that I was going. And I was taking my children with me, and like I said, my son has autism, so it was crazy. It was very stressful, but I kept going.
Wow.
The 4th day that I went, they blessed me with an apartment that I did not have to pay for 6 months.
Are you serious?
Utilities that I did not have to pay for 6 months.
Wow.
They helped my son get all the therapy that he needed. He was able to get into daycare. I was able to get a mental break from my children by getting them in daycare, and it was free of cost because of the situation that I was in. So God was providing me with all of the resources that I needed. All I had to do was be patient and consistent. We can't expect things to come to us and we're not putting the work in to receive those things. They're not going to fall in our lap. It's like an input-output thing,
Yeah.
You give the output and God's going to work within you. So that's how that works. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And so after getting the break with my kids being in daycare, I went to a college, and, I explained to them how I owed the school another, money from like 2015, but how I desperately really wanted to get my life together. And so with me being in a homeless shelter, my application fees were waived, my tests to enter into school were waived. I was able to literally get into college with just a copy of my transcripts instead of my official transcripts. I'm telling you guys this because this was not an accident. This wasn't a coincidence. This was strategic. This was planned exactly how it was supposed to happen for me. And so when I got into school, they ended up paying for everything. Brand new laptop, everything I needed for school, all the equipment I needed was paid for. And once I paid for everything I needed, I had a check being sent to me for everything that I didn't spend, which was well over $1,200. So not only am I in this brand new place, my kids have their own rooms now. I'm in school, it's online, so it doesn't interfere with me being a parent or having to be away. And it was just it was the biggest blessing, because when I first started those 30 days, I was so hopeless.
Yeah.
I didn't see that all of that could happen.
Right. It sounds great. It sounds like a fairy tale. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
It is, but it happens to the best of us. And I tell myself all the time, I don't mind telling my story because I know that somebody else can benefit off of those stories.
I agree. And then, I'm taking you to a job now.
Right. I was even blessed with, once I moved in, it was like I kept telling God, like, please don't let me have my baby in this shelter, please, because it was so much families in there.
Yep.
There was no way that they could put me somewhere privately.
No.
So I kept saying, please don't let me have my baby here. I got my apartment a week before I had my baby. When I moved into my apartment, I was blessed with a baby crib. I was blessed with TVs. I had funds given to me to get Wi-Fi connection for my schooling. And I was also blessed with a furniture voucher. So brand new couches, brand new mattresses. The crazy thing is, I told them I wanted a king size because, just in case all of my kids want to lay in the bed with me.
Right, yeah.
And they said, well, we don't know. We might just have a queen. And I said, okay, well, I'll be grateful for that.
Yeah.
And God was listening.
Yeah.
And I got a king, you guys. I got a king size bed. It's super plush and soft. And all of my kids got a mattress. And we got a dining table. We got a brand new couch. It's crazy because when I got to the warehouse and I seen all the couches, I was like, oh, these are really, really used. But I seen a really pretty gray one in the back.
Yeah.
It's like it had a little spotlight on it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I seen it, the woman was like, you can have that one all the way in the back. And it has a piece that goes with it you can have too. She was just being nice that day. But everything was set up for me. And because I was patient, because I allowed myself. Well, this is the thing. We have to sacrifice ourselves every day against how we feel and our emotions and our mind. We have to sacrifice ourselves every day for what's bigger than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once I was able to do that, everything just kept pouring down, and it was so overwhelming. And like you were saying, you're taking me to this job. This is the best job I've ever had. This is the most money I've ever made. It doesn't interfere with me being a mother during the day. I'm gone from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. sometimes, but my kids are sleeping or just waking up. So it benefits me in so many ways. And so I say that to say this, you guys just stay focused, stay down, open your mind, open your heart, be receptive. If somebody's offering you some type of information, listen to it, even if you feel like you may know more. It's a reason that God brings people in your path.
Wow. Well, your story, Miss K, is unbelievable. You clearly have favor over your life. You are such a blessed person. But even from the moment you came in my car, though, I just sensed absolute kindness and a generous spirit. You were just something about you that I would have felt comfortable talking to you or being around you. There's just something about you that you give off.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I love when people that are like you, who are good people, who have hit a bad point in their life, a tough point, because we all hit those points.
We all do, yes.
Right? And then, you obviously have a very strong faith, and you're also, like you said, doing the stuff that you need to do in your part so that God can come through for you. And I mean, it's inspiring.
Right.
I don't care, where you're at in life, what your socioeconomic situation is. There's stuff that we all have going on in our lives. There's stuff that we need. Man, that is so inspiring. Thank you for being you, and thank you for sharing with us tonight.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Her faith, her humility, the way she practices gratitude in very difficult circumstances. Wow. And I know that there will be all kinds of folks from all kinds of faith or even non-faith backgrounds that listen to this. But for me, truly, her beauty of spirit was just so profound that I can see why God has given her extraordinary favor. And I know that she'll continue walking in that. She was one of those people that when she left my car, I felt like I was floating. I felt like I could be a better person. I felt deep hope. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, all you beautiful people. For all of you that have gone on this journey with me over 15 episodes for the first full season, I don't really know how to thank you. I hope it's given you laughter, some cringes, some tears, some inspiration, and most of all, a feeling of just deeper connection to humankind. And if you're enjoying this project, please tell all the adults you know about it. I have a belief that this project is going to make it, that it's going to get big enough to where I can actually get it generating enough income to make it feasible to keep going. So, here's my proposal. If you can bring the listeners on, and we can build a sizable audience, I'll figure out how to monetize it and keep making more seasons. In the meantime, though, I hope that as these stories reverberate in your soul and in your mind, you draw closer to the divine intentions over your life, and that you love more outrageously than you ever have, and that if you're feeling depressed or anxious about the future and your life, that hope will begin to seep in around the edges, and that you will have a perspective shift. Please reach out on my DMs or by email and just let me know if BCP has helped you in some way, and I will try to share as many of those stories with the rest of the world as possible. Blessings on you and yours. This is what happens when you are a rideshare driver in Atlanta and ask people for their stories. These weren't handpicked people with great stories. They just happened to get in my car and be gracious enough to share with all of us. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be in Atlanta and need to grab a rideshare and end up telling the rest of us the next great story on BCP. I'd actually encourage you to, every so often, just ask a stranger to share a story from their life. You never know what you might learn. I believe that our stories are powerful. They can make you laugh, cringe, cry, or even get you to think or feel differently. Our stories can truly make this world a little bit better place. So please, subscribe, rate, and listen to this podcast and share it with as many adults as possible. It would mean so much to me. First and foremost, I want to thank the incredible writers who trusted me with your stories. You're my heroes. Thanks also to all the people in the background who have believed in this project/dream. All of the music on this podcast was found on pixabay.com, and it was free, which is an amazing gift when you're starting a podcast on a shoestring budget.